While WWE keeps an eye out for the best talent available in the world, not every pro wrestler is cut out to become a WWE star. Those aspiring to get in the company need to be careful about what they do or say, and should always keep a clean track record. In the past, we've seen performers signed to the WWE getting released for things they had done prior to joining the company. And with the organization keen on keeping a clean image, they do not hesitate to cut ties with those they think would bring negative PR. Saying that on the indie circuit there are certain wrestlers whose gimmicks wouldn't make it onto the WWE television scene. Whether it's because of their sexual nature or the fact that it wouldn't get cleared by the networks, not every wrestler is okay with being repackaged and losing their identity. At the same time, some wrestlers come with baggage, while there are others who don't play nice and have a history of butting heads with the management. My name is John, and in this video we take a look at 10 wrestlers WWE should avoid signing. There was a time when Del Rio showed so much promise that management thought they had finally found someone that could replace Rey Mysterio and could be catered to the Hispanic fan base. Born into the wrestling business, Del Rio was destined for greatness, and what he lacked in charisma, he made up for in the ring. That wasn't until Alberto started going on a tangent and had problems with his peers and management. Del Rio got a second chance in WWE, and while both parties had their own version of the truth, Alberto chose to walk away from the company. However, his relationship with Impact Wrestling management soared quickly as well, and Del Rio has become a man that is rather left untouched by wrestling promotions. While Del Rio has spoken about wanting to walk away from the wrestling business on many occasions, he continues to compete on the indie circuit. Given his past troubles and the fact that he now comes with baggage, WWE would be better off staying away from the star. The Funkasaurus gimmick might not have been the greatest idea to begin with, but there is something inherently entertaining, especially if you're Vince McMahon, watching a big guy jiving and grooving. Brodus Clay was never taken seriously in WWE because of his gimmick, and while the promotion originally had plans to book him as an unstoppable monster laying waste to competition, the end product was much more cringeworthy. Clay was initially released by WWE in 2008 before they gave him a second chance. After leaving the WWE for the second time, Clay signed with Impact Wrestling, and after 3 underwhelming years, he left the company, alluding to tensions between the wrestler and management. Many have spoken out about Brodus' attitude problems and the fact that he can't seem to get along with officials. WWE would be better off not bringing the Funkasaurus back, and one has to wonder what the company saw in him in the first place, given the fact that he isn't the most skillful big guy in the industry. Controversy creates cash, and the wrestling promotions are too familiar with that promotional tactic, while WWE largely stays away from controversies given the fact that they have investors to answer to and sponsors to appease. Not all wrestling companies care about negative publicity. Impact Wrestling milked the controversy surrounding Sami Callihan as much as they could to promote his rivalry with Eddie Edwards. However, the reality is Sami could have easily ruined Eddie's wrestling career, or worse. Callihan broke Eddie Edwards' orbital bone not too long ago with a baseball bat during a spot that went horribly wrong. Fortunately for Eddie, he did not end up losing vision. However, Callihan has since doubled down on the incident and has embraced the hatred that it has generated. While Impact Wrestling showed the clip multiple times to further the feud between the two performers, it wouldn't have gone down well with WWE management. Sami was signed to WWE for a while, but the superstar was released in 2015. You could say the WWE arguably dodged a bullet with Callihan and should never bring the star to the promotion again. Sexy Star is a major name in Mexico and has proved that she can be a big draw. Despite her limited skill set in the ring, she has worked for major wrestling promotions including Lucha Underground and AAA, and has won multiple titles. While wrestling fans have taken a liking to Sexy Star, those behind the scenes never really liked her, and have spoken out about her attitude problems and how she doesn't gel with other wrestlers. The greatest testament to these allegations came last year when Sexy Star would defend her title at the Triple Mania event against 3 other wrestlers. During the finish, Star legitimately injured Rosemary, shooting on her. This resulted in her being blacklisted from performing in a lot of these promotions, and the superstar has since lost numerous bookings because of her antics. WWE in particular is strict about such incidents, and the company largely overlooks performers that go into the business for themselves. Loki is a veteran in the wrestling business and was the first ever Ring of Honor World Champion. However, he's gotten himself into trouble with officials of various promotions, including WWE. Over the years, Loki has earned a reputation of being difficult to work with, from slapping a cameraman during his time in ROH many years ago, to angering the New Japan Wrestling hierarchy, refusing to wrestle Fukushima, and getting blacklisted in the process. The former Impact Wrestling star is far from being a company man. In fact, WWE management knows all about Loki. The 5-time X Division champ won the 2nd season of NXT in WWE, performing as Caval. While the superstars that win a season of NXT get a shot at a title of their choosing, Caval didn't accomplish much in WWE and left the promotion in 2010. It was later revealed that Caval was already in hot waters with officials and both parties couldn't see eye to eye, leading to WWE and Caval parting ways. While the adage never say never applies to the wrestling business more than any other industry, it is highly unlikely that the company would bring Loki back into the fold. It is rather difficult to imagine a gimmick being the reason for WWE staying away from a wrestler. While that was the case with the likes of New Jack, WWE would be wary of signing Joey Ryan, who over the years has gained mainstream attention for his, to put it gently, use of male genitalia to his advantage. Joey Ryan has been one of the very few performers to have taken a risk to grow and evolve in the wrestling industry, but the wrestler isn't everyone's cup of tea. While many find his act to be humorous, there have been others who were offended by what he did inside the wrestling ring. Ryan has done incredibly well in the indie scene and wouldn't want to change his act, and thus lose his popularity and appeal to get into WWE. The global leader in sports entertainment too would be better off staying away from Ryan, at least until he decides to change his gimmick down the road. Athletically gifted and being the grandson of the legendary Stu Hart, Teddy Hart was supposed to have made a splash in the professional wrestling scene. However, he will go down as one of the major disappointments in the business, with numerous wrestling promotions having blackballed him from ever competing for them again. Teddy gained infamy on the indie scene as someone that couldn't be trusted, and while he was signed by WWE along with Tyson Kidd and D.H. Smith over a decade ago, they immediately realized that he was a liability, and cut him loose before bringing the rest of the faction to the main roster. From sexual assault and rape allegations to being considered a volatile character that just could never realize his true potential, Teddy Hart could be considered the black sheep of the Hart family. WWE hesitated to take a chance with Teddy over a decade ago, and they should not think about bringing him back into the company anytime soon. Speaking about wrestlers who acted unprofessionally, there is not a soul in the wrestling industry that would defend the Japanese wrestler who not too long ago viciously attacked her opponent. With WWE now recruiting Japanese talent, they would certainly have their eye on Yoshiko, who just so happens to be one of the most promising talents in the wrestling industry, but an incident in 2015 would forever leave a stain on her career. While wrestling for Stardom, during a match she injured someone so badly that she was forced to retire from the wrestling industry. While Stardom condemned her actions by stripping her of her title and forcing her to retire from the wrestling biz, she refused to do the right thing and walked away from the promotion. She has since signed up with another company and has continued to wrestle for various independent promotions, also dabbling in MMA, amassing 2 wins and 1 loss in her professional MMA career. Furthermore, Yoshiko has banked on the infamy her match in 2015 generated, dubbing herself the Face Crusher, and is one of the most despicable performers in the wrestling business today. The big guy is an outspoken individual. While there is nothing wrong with being outspoken, there is, however, the matter of taking responsibility for your words and actions. Ryback's first couple of years in the WWE were highly successful. In fact, his injury during his time with Nexus came as a blessing in disguise, as a rocket was strapped to his back and he was pushed to the moon when he returned to the main roster with a new gimmick. However, all that seemed to change when Ryback suffered his first loss to CM Punk during their WWE title bout. Since then, the colossal superstar hit a snag and was reduced to mid-card roles, something that did not sit with him. This, combined with the speculation backstage that he was unsafe to work with, saw his popularity diminish rapidly, and the universe seemed to forget about the man that made them stand up and chant "Feed me more" not too long ago. Ryback would quit the company by asking for his release. He has since vented on numerous podcasts about the promotion, putting the company on blast. In the 80s and 90s, Hulk Hogan was a global icon. His advice to the kids to say their prayers, eat their vitamins, and drink their milk portrayed him as a role model to the younger generation. However, over the past few years, the Hulkster's actions have led to him getting snubbed by wrestling promotions and being ostracized by the wrestling community. While Hogan has done a lot for the business and was a big reason for pro wrestling getting mainstream exposure in the 80s, he has very little to offer WWE at this point. Given his previous statements that have landed him in trouble, the company would be better off not bringing him back and keeping him at arm's length. And these are 10 wrestlers WWE should avoid signing. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching Wrestling Hub, and I'll see you later with more wrestling videos.